It's a paradox.
Okay.
I love the way that David Icke explained it on Saturday. You know, that we are infinite love, infinite consciousness, temporarily experiencing what it's like to be here with our feet on the ground, trying to figure it all out. And what we're doing is we're playing games. We're just playing games. And that doesn't mean there's anything trivial about it. But what else is a spiritual, playful being going to do in all of eternity, apart from to play games? It's a good way to learn. This is all a big training course. And so there's a paradox, because just like children playing in the playground at school, it feels important when somebody's chasing each other, when they're, I don't know, they're playing some game and somebody's trying to chase someone, trying to catch them, and they're trying to get away, and they're trying to figure out all this kind of stuff. Or just like being in a movie, it's just another kind of game. And it feels important, but the paradox is that it's not. So I'm enjoying pretending that this is important, but it's not, because I know who I am. And this is where what Ruth was saying about the most important basic piece of information being that we know who we are. That gives us our ground of security. And this is where both Ruth and I would be in 100% agreement with David Icke. If they kill me, I don't care. I'll just come back. It doesn't matter at all. You know, I like the line in Star Wars where Obi-Wan Kenobi says to Darth Vader, "If you kill me, I'll be more powerful than you can ever imagine." You know, and so this is why it's very important not to fall into the trap which we are intended to fall into, of believing this illusion that we are small, mortal, powerless, temporarily animated hunks of meat, that when it's all over, then that's the end. And in the meantime, we've got to fight for survival and worry about how we're going to feed ourselves and clothe ourselves and keep warm and all the stuff that's at the bottom level of Maslow's triangle. You know, the real truth is somewhere else, and this is why, just as David Icke has been saying in every presentation he's been giving this year, this is why he starts with the fundamental reality that who we are is the biggest secret. This is why Ruth, when you were asking her, started with exactly the same statement, but in her own language, which is the fundamentally important thing is to know who we are. And that's what we're not allowed to know, because just as, and I can't remember who it was, who made that wonderful series of statements that lawyers destroy justice.
Mark Elner.
Yeah. Thank you. That scientists, universities destroy knowledge and religions destroy spirituality. This is where we're at here. So we're not talking about believing anything. You have to get above all of that. And when you're above all of that, looking down at the whole thing from what Ruth metaphorically described as having taken off into the clouds, and this is the what, for lack of any better word, we can call the spiritual realm. Not the astral realm, where you're talking about ghosts and ghoulies and interdimensional beings who are playing games, just as we play games down here. You just can't see them. It's just the same. They're just non-physical in our terms. But when you get above all that, then you look down at the whole thing, and all you're looking at a virtual reality game. And that's why it doesn't matter. But when you and I are playing a virtual reality game on our computer, if we do that, or going to see the 2012 movie, we'll be feeling this in our body, viscerally. It feels important. It feels it's like we want to win, or we want somebody else to win if we're watching the game. But it's just a game. Everything's a game. And so I'm enjoying the game. And what gives, this is like a personal statement, what gives me, what it feels like gives my strength in the game is exactly what Ruth was describing here, which is the knowledge of who I am. Because that's home base. That's where you go back to. That's where you return to after the movie is over. And then you talk about it and you think about it and you think, hey, that was fun. I'll go back and do that one again next week. And so this is why fighting doesn't work, because fighting continues the game. We've been fighting for millions, billions, trillions, possibly quadrillions of years. And all that does, it just prolongs the game. And so this is a variant of what Einstein said, that a problem can't be solved by the level of consciousness which produced the problem in the first place. You've got to rise above that. And this is why, and the application of that in this situation is you can't solve this problem on planet Earth by being a human being, just being a human being. Because that's the level of consciousness which has created the problem. You can only resolve this problem from a spiritual standpoint. And my application of what Ruth was saying, that the fundamental thing never to remember is that love is universal, and that capacity that we all have as spiritual beings must never be forgotten. And David Icke said it in his own way. He's looking at the Illuminati, he's looking at the reptilians, he's looking at the child eater, he's looking at the torturers, he's looking at the warmonger, and he's saying, I feel sorry for them. They've lost their way. They're spiritual beings who've forgotten who they are. They're playing a game and they're still stuck in it. At a different level, they've got all kinds of abilities, they've got billions of dollars, they've got psychic abilities, they're helped by nasty ETs, but they don't know who they really are. They can't get out of their trap either, because they've been doing it for billions of years also. This whole thing has been rolling on forever, almost. But it doesn't matter. What else are we going to do in all of eternity? You see, it's fun. And you've got to see it as fun. And this is why I enjoy my work, because it's a game. But it's a very serious game, you know. If somebody actually put a pistol to my head, I don't really know what I would do, you know. My body would be frightened, because the body is just an animal, like the car that we're driving, and animals get frightened when they're threatened. My body would probably be frightened as a spiritual being. I think, oh, I wonder what it's going to be like going into the light, you see.
So obviously the whole search of self is very important for people, and this is something I really want to focus on. You say you understand and know who you are. Does that have to do also with understanding your past lives and how they impact here? Yeah,
sure. I spent hundreds of years in Tibet. I came to the West in 1850. I was born into a Victorian family in London. And it seemed like a good idea at the time. I know a lot of people who've come from other cultures, shamanic cultures, or from, you know, other planets. It doesn't really matter, but we're not talking about this very locked down, programmed reality, as David Icke would put it. That is our current post-industrial Western world, which is very heavily under control, where spirituality actually has taken a retrograde step compared with the Aborigines and the Bushmen and the shamans in South America, who understand the whole story and have done for thousands of years, you know. So I came to the West. It seemed like a good idea at the time. I picked up information when I was meditating in Tibet that those guys over there need help. I don't know where they are, I don't know who they are, but that's where I'm going next time, because they need help.